everyone, welcome to the Knitting Den, episode number 126, had to look there, and today's Tuesday, August the 18th. I'm on the porch. I did go over to the other side a second ago just to see if the lighting was good, but not my dog came out, so not going over there. It's actually nicer when I sit here because Bindi can just wander around the porch and she doesn't have to be on a leash. And not a breeze right now, so I am sitting on this side of the porch instead of where I normally sit, kind of wedged up against the wall. And I'm hoping the lighting is okay. Alright, so welcome to returning friends. Hasn't this week gone fast? It's Tuesday again already. And if you are watching for the first time and you are a new friend, welcome to you too, and I'm glad you're here. Bindi's glad too. She's right here with me. And then you can hear the hummingbirds tweeting. And if she barks, it's because she's going to try and get the hummingbird. I don't want to chop my head off, but I want to sit and relax anyway. So, returning viewers, friends, and new friends, and especially new friends Devon Keir, who is Devon in Florida. I'm going to say welcome to those that left an introduction in the Ravelry thread. Hi Devon, and then LaRue56, who is Laurie in California. Debbie Chrisman, who is Debbie in Virginia. And of course the flies are coming around already. Stashquisition, who is Rhonda in Massachusetts. And I just want to say, Rhonda, thank you for letting me know about Volmizer. She did comment and say that it does wash or block out nice and soft, because I think it's not that soft right now. But I just want to say thanks, Rhonda. Yeah, up and down like a yo-yo. Anyway, so did I say my name's Denise? I didn't, did I? My name's Denise. You probably know me as Denise. No, I'm Knitting Den as well. You'll find me on Instagram, and Ravelry is Knitting Den. And as I mentioned earlier, this is Bindi. Yes. I hope you've all had a great week. Oh, I've got to tell you, no hat this week. I am sporting my new do. Got my hair cut and highlighted last week, and I washed it, so I'm all pretty for you today. Aren't you lucky? And I also want to mention, before I just chat about the week, you might be wondering what I'm wearing. I wanted to show you my new badge that came in the mail. Now, this, well, you will know if you live over here in the US, this is a button. Yes. Yes, Brit friends and family, this is what they call a button. We call it a badge. And this badge is from my sweet friend Chris, who has the U University podcast. And it is an audio podcast, and it says fibre for the brain. I'm not sure if you can see that because it never comes out clear. Fibre for the brain. That's what we all need, right? Anyway, I'm going to leave it just like that for a minute. Or I guess I should fasten it. Chris has an audio podcast, as I just said. I don't listen to many. I can probably count on one hand how many audio podcasts I do listen to when I get the chance. But I have to say, Chris's is always first on my list. Not just because she's my pen pal and I like to listen to her, but she has a fabulous, informative... I've learnt so many things just listening to her podcast this past year. Just informative things. Check it out. I'm going to try and start linking to things, but well, I don't know how that's going to go. But it's uuniversity.com, I think, and you'll find her in the Ravelry. She has a group in the Ravelry section. I can't get my words out because I'm getting a hot flush. Her group is called U University as well, so you can check that out. Can you hear Not My Dog? Bindi hears her. Her ears are propped up. But you're not going to bark, are you? No. No, you're being a good girl. Okay, so as I was saying, I hope you've all had a great week. It was the first week back to school last week, and it just went super fast. I can't believe it's Tuesday already. I know. Kristen, or I was going to say Kiki, had a good week. She's enjoying all of her classes, likes her teachers, so it was a good start to the year, and I want to thank everyone for their well wishes, especially on Instagram when I posted a couple of pictures of her, her first day back. Yeah, I hope the year continues as good as it started. Let's see, what else? You wouldn't think it, because I'm rather hot right now, but the mornings, oh sorry Bendy, the mornings are really chilly here right now, and I'm loving it. We leave the house at about 6:40, and it's in the 50s. I have to wear a sweater or a cardigan to go up to the bus stop. It's that chilly for me. And it just, I've said this last week, it just makes me feel like fall or autumn is just around the corner. We are still getting like 80-degree weather in the afternoon, but we're also forecast all this week, and we had it a lot last week, afternoon thunderstorms, so it doesn't stay in the 80s very long. We get the grey skies, and sometimes we get a little bit of rain, a little bit of thunder, not huge storms. I just love it. I know I keep saying this, but I do absolutely love it. So that is my first card. Look, I'm all organised. Alright, let's jump into what's in the den. What's in the den this week? A couple of new things and a couple of old things. The old things, I'm not sure. Well, I did get a little bit done on this, and I wanted to just rush through this part because I feel like it's getting a bit boring. I worked a little bit on my forest elf, and I've put a doohickey in here, but that's not where I was last week. I just wanted to mention, for those that weren't sure of what a doohickey is, it's one of these, it's just a marker to say where you are on your knitting. I guess you would also call it back home a thingamy-bob. That's what I used to call it, but I've heard people say doohickey, and it kind of stuck because it's a cute name. So I'm knitting Forest Elf. I did not bring the Simply Knitting magazine because I keep showing it every week. So I'm going to rush through that. If you are new, you'll see it another time. You're going to have to tune in or look at the previous podcasts. I will say, just for some reference here, that I'm knitting... Hey, you can't get up there. You'll fall. No, come on. Sit down, please, or you're going in. Can you see her? She's about to jump up on here. I don't want you sitting on there. You'll fall over the other side. No. Sit down, please. I guess I could keep her there in shot. Come on, you can co-host with me. Thank you. Well, now they can't see you. I'm using wool by Elan yarns. So, as I said, I'm going to drop that down there and not go on too long about it. I hope the lighting went okay when I did that. You're not getting up there. I'm going to put you in if you're going to interrupt me all the time. What else was there? Oh, Moon Dance. Where's it go? Didn't bring the Moon Dance out with me. It didn't get much work on it either. That is a lace shawl. That's the one I started knitting in the Volmizer, and the pattern is by Jenna Krupar from the Retro Lemon podcast. You're going to keep making me stumble over my words, can't concentrate with you. So, the other thing, new, joined us in the den this week. Seriously, Bindi? There you go. But then you can't see me. They can't see me, my head will be chopped off. So, I'm sorry, I'm going up and down with the camera. New in the den. There's another bakery bear joining me in the den. And I decided I would cast this on because it's a really, really quick knit. I can't say that with many toys. This bear is super quick for me. And the pattern, as many of you know, is from Kay, who is one of the co-hosts of the Bakery Bears podcast. This is Mrs. Bakery Bear. And I've cast on... You're going to fall off me. Excuse me? No. I'm sorry, but the bag is... Bindi, you're falling off my knee. I can't even... Where is it? I thought I put everything in here. Oh, you know what? I think Bindi is sitting on it. Shut up! Oh, you're not being nice. I might have to be editing this a lot. She was sitting on it. This is just a foot. And I'm using the same yarn I used before, which is Cascade 220. I've finished the body. I haven't fetched all of the parts out with me. See, I thought I was organised and I'm not. Did bring my coffee though. Have you got your drink? In my Colorado mug this week. And I was going to be snacking on one of these. Have you tried these? Probably not if you're in England. I love these. Pastry crisps. And what I like about them, the special care ones, they get 2 in a package. But anyway, back to the bear. I'm knitting this for a birthday gift for a 1-year-old on Sunday. I hope this lighting's... is that better? I'm chopping my head off when the lighting's... Okay, I'll just leave it like that. I might just edit all these bits out where I'm moving the camera up and down. So I'm knitting this for a 1-year-old. Her birthday or party get-together with the family is on Sunday. This is the friends that I've knit for in the past. The little 2 bunnies back in Easter, that family, if you remember. I'm going to have to take pictures or do a little video of Mrs. BB when she's finished, because I won't have it by next Tuesday. I'll have given it away. So I'm going to try to remember, obviously. I'll get finished pictures, but if I can, I would like to do a little, tiny little video to insert, and then you can see her for real. So I've got the head done, the muzzle, the ears, the body, and I've got half a leg done, so I need another leg, 2 arms, and the bear is finished, and then I'll get on with a dress. It'll only take me a couple of days more to get it finished, and I think I only started it at the weekend, like 2 or 3 days ago. So that joined us in the den. I'm sorry. Mrs. BB joined us in the den this week. Now, also in the den, and I'm going to have to show you on the iPad because I didn't print out the picture. I'm being a bit of a copycat, but that's okay. I don't think knitters mind when you copy them and you start doing the same pattern as them. It's not like you see them wearing a top or a sweater and then you go to the mall and you buy the exact same one and then you turn up at the same function with them wearing the same sweater. It's not like that. It is... that's what I love about the knitting community and Ravelry. You see so many patterns and it inspires you or just makes you want to cast on right then and there, and that's what happened this week. And I'm going to try, if this will load up, I wanted to try and find the pattern. It's a cowl, and the lovely Kay from Bakery Bears podcast showed this on Instagram this week. Oh, come on, Lord. And I just loved it. She's already knit one, and she was showing us the yarn that she's picked to knit her second one, and I think this is the one that she's doing in the Chatsworth House colours, which, you know, because she was just there on vacation, and it's this. Look at that. Oh, I just loved it. And I love the colour of this one, and it's got beads in it. So I had to cast on. And actually, Kay was sweet and said, shall we do a knit along together, because she's starting hers. So excuse me, I feel like, yes, I'm in with a little knit along, another one, because my forest elf is a knit along. This is all I've got done. And again, oh man, Bindi, I thought I was organised. I was going to bring the tube of beads out, but I can't get very close. The camera's a bit further away. Here we go. These, I only put 1 row of beads in, and the yarn, which is super, super soft. I bet I don't. Oh, I do have I have the label. I've decided on this It's like a creamy colour, well, not cream, taupe, I would call that taupe. It's super soft and it is, oh sorry Bindi, I'm putting all the yarn on you. I have about 3 of these in my stash and it's Veil, it's Mountaintop by Classic Elite Yarns. Baby alpaca, how much percent? 70 and 30% bamboo viscose. Hummingbird, Bindi's watching the hummingbird. It's super soft. I don't swatch for cows, I'm sorry, I can't swatch for cows. I know I probably should. And I'm thinking I might have should for this one because I'm a bit concerned that it might be, I'm sure I'm chopping my head off. It might be a bit small. This is supposed to be like a really long cowl. I know it's going to stretch, but I'm just not quite sure how much it's going to stretch. I've used a size 5, and the reason being, if I use any bigger needle, it's just going to be way too open and loose, because I'm a very loose knitter. But Kay, I'm wondering whether I should stop before I get any further and just give this a little bit more thought. Either pick a different yarn or put it on some other yarn and stretch it out just to, you know, confirm that it's going to be loose enough. That would probably be the best thing to do. But I've started that this week and I really like it. I hope I can knit at this gauge or this size 5 because it's super soft and I think it would be fabulous. I'll have more news on that next week. I'll make a decision. Excuse me, I'm just going to put it down there. And itchy nose. All right. Let we see. Shall we see? Yeah, so that was the cowl. The moon dance didn't get much work. While I'm thinking about it, I just need to say to Dan and Kay, and Dan, stop getting on at your wife about the way she says things. It's forest foliage. It's not foliage. I don't pronounce that I. Kay, I'm right with you there. Forest foliage. And that's the way I was saying it the whole time I was knitting it. So just wanted to get that on record there. I think that was everything I was going to show you regarding what's currently on my needles. There's lots of other stuff. No, I've got one more and I just spied it because I forgot to write it down. There is a lot more on my needles and you saw that in a couple of weeks ago when I was showing you all the whips. There is so much more I want to put on my needles and I'm having to restrain myself, but I want to cast on everything. Now, I've just reached down again. I probably should just stop telling you I'm going to reach down because you can see me reaching down. And I'm going to take it out of this big bag so that we're not making a scrunchy noise. Alright, again, I'm copying Kay because just this morning, I haven't done any knitting on this, but I've brought it to show you. Just this morning, when I was having my first cup of coffee about an hour ago, I saw on, I think it was Kay's Instagram page, I saw a picture of the log cabin blanket that she started. And I know she was knitting the blanket with Dan, they were taking turns, but she says she might think about doing a log cabin blanket instead of this stripy blanket. I started a log cabin blanket, some of you might remember, last year with the intentions of knitting it as a surprise to give to hubby, because he likes big, warm, cosy blankets, for Christmas. The thing is, after I decided I would knit this, he quit his job and started working from home. So then I couldn't do any secret knitting because he's always in the house. So I kind of got left by the wayside and I decided that's just not going to happen. I'm going to show you what I was doing, but I think, I'll say this now, I think I'm going to frog it all. This is my log cabin blanket so far. And it's not the same one as Kay's doing, it was just, I was making it up as I go along. I know the concept of a log cabin blanket, you know, you start with a square, or this is not quite a square, but you start with the middle and you cast on and you go around in circles. Kay just linked to a log cabin blanket, and again, I'm going to try to link to the things I'm talking about on my in the Ravelry group, and perhaps copy and paste that into the blog if there's anybody checking over there. She linked to the log cabin blanket that she was making, and it's one I'd never seen before, and it's made with smaller blocks of, or smaller squares of the log cabin blanket. It's the same concept. You can see it going around, changing different colours, but then you stop at a certain size and you make a few of them and then you'll sew them all together. I think it's verypink.com. I love this YouTube site for any tutorials on certain stitches, and she's got a YouTube video on how to start the log cabin blanket. So I looked at that this morning as well, watching the hummingbirds chase each other again. I want to pull this out and start again properly, as I would say. And the reason being, two things. I would like to make the squares because I think it looks nicer. And the main thing, which I decided even before I saw Kay's blanket, I wasn't liking this, and I'll tell you why I'm not liking this. I just said I'm a loose knitter, and I'm using some Vanna's Choice acrylic on a size 9. And I'm getting a very stretchy, loose blanket. And I didn't like that. I want it to be a bit heavier and a bit more closed. I do love garter stitch. I love how it's looking. I just think, to me, it's just a little bit springy and a bit too loose. So with that said, my plan is to get to pull this out. Now, for those who haven't knit a log cabin blanket, or even if you have, the video where I was watching the girl suggest that you use is your leftover worsted weight yarn. And she highly recommends that if you can, you use an animal fibre, like wool or alpaca or a mixture, because it's going to block out a lot better. The squares will block nicer than acrylic. The problem is, I don't know if I have enough leftover wool or superwash wool to get a blanket out of it, because I don't use, well, I'm thinking I don't use that much. I can't think of what I've got left in stash. A lot of my stash leftovers is sock yarn, and I'm wondering, and this might not work, I was wondering whether or not I can double the sock yarn. Do I get a worsted weight yarn if I double fingering weight? If I do, then that would be a fabulous way to do this log cabin, and double up my fingering weight and start using that, because I do have a lot. I've never fancied doing the mitered square blanket. It just looks a little bit too fiddly for me. I know it might be super easy once you get started, just not for me. And I did try to start the bee, I can't, it's not the bee something, cow, no, oh my gosh, not the bee leaf, because that's Kimberly's shawl. It's the something bee, it's the quilted, you know, the little hexagons. It's that. I started doing that with my leftover yarn, and I think I only got about 3 or 4 made, so I don't like that. And my decision, the thing I need to think about is, do I just do acrylic anyway because I have a lot of it and I can use that, or do I try to search around and, you know, go, I can't even think of what I've got in my stash, so it's something I need to think about. Don't want to bore you with all the details, which I probably just have, so we'll move on. That does bring me to, I'll put this away, that brings me to, lost me notes, what left the den this week? Now, what left the den, you could call this a finished object, or you might not want to. I'm undecided, to be honest. I'm going to say it's finished because I have no intentions of doing anything more with it. And I think finished objects need to be just left to the knitter. It's open to interpretation. That's where I'm deciding. If you have a sleeve and you finished it and you want to call it an FO, Trooper Schultz here is not going to do anything about it. So, finished object, not really, but yes. And that brings me to the title as well of this week's show. I'm changing my legacy. I finished the square, or kinda, not really. of the Afghan. I thought I might start and I wanted this to be my legacy. I wanted to do this beautiful Afghan full of squares. And for those watching for the first time, I used Red Heart acrylic. And it was really horrible. I'm sorry. It's just not nice. There's so many nice acrylics out there. Even Vanna's Choice is super, super soft and, you know, nice to knit with. This, not so much. I've blocked it. Well, I haven't blocked it. What I wanted to do was, once I'd finished knitting the first square, I wanted to throw it in the wash and see if it washed softer. It's softer, but I just, can you feel it? It's like, it's like crackly. I don't like it. And so this Red Heart yarn that I've got a lot of, because I did buy it with the intention of perhaps knitting an Afghan one day, I think I'm just going to have to gift that to Goodwill or some place that wants acrylic to knit some blankets and things. I mean, it can't be not, oh gosh, here we go. You can still use it. You know, it's going to be durable, you get warm blankets out of it. It's just not as soft as I would want for my family blanket. Those hummingbirds, I wish I could just show you. They'll probably fly away. Hold on. Oh, the whole big post is in the middle. Wait. Well, that didn't work. You saw a tiny little snippet there, and it probably was wobbly because I was using my left hand to just hold the camera. And yeah, so that I just wanted you to see a tiny little bit there. I've moved position on the couch because I keep thinking the light's not that good. It's a little better because the sun's moving over. So anyway, I'm nearly finished my coffee, but every time you hear a whistling, that's the bird back. And every time I take the camera off the tripod to try and get a picture, he flies away. Anyway, so as I was saying, once I decided I didn't want this Red Heart, and I don't actually want the Afghan, because, hold on, I'll put this down. What I didn't mention was, I do not fancy a bunch of squares, and it's not even square. It's difficult to get it square because when it's on the needles, it's hard to tell. I mean, that's how wide it is, but that's not how high it got. And it's all curly, even though, because you don't really block out acrylic like this. It's all curly, and I just don't fancy having a lot of them to sew up. I just don't like it. Once I decided that, I decided I might go back to the Tree of Life Afghan and get some better yarn, either a nicer acrylic or a superwash wool, and start that Tree of Life one, which is a all in one piece. You don't have to sew it together. That's what I was going to tell you until this morning. And now that I've seen Kay's lovely log cabin blanket, and I've seen how you actually do it correctly, and getting a bit hot now. Can you hear them? They're fighting. Naughty. I wish I could get it on camera. And it's just so distracting too. I keep watching them. I've decided that the log cabin blanket, knit the way Kay's doing hers, knit from this pattern from verypink.com. That's going to be my legacy. That's what I'm calling it anyway. I like that you can knit it in smaller pieces, and watching the video, she shows you how to block it out nicely. And I think I've been doing this a little wrong because you knit two together at the end. I don't think I was doing that on this one. I kind of just picked up and went for it myself. Yes, tweaking the hair as usual. So that's going to be my legacy. What I need to do this week is look at what yarn I might use. I just don't know what I've got in stash or leftovers. I don't know what the leftovers are. I know it'll be a work in progress, and then leftovers may come about once I've finished other projects. I was going to say once I finished my Forest Elf, but I wouldn't want to use that because That is not superwash wool, so that wouldn't be able to go in the wash. So it's either got to be all acrylic, again go back to using what I have, or start knitting with some superwash more, you know, knitting some projects. I just don't know. So sorry about that, waffling. No spinning this week. I didn't get a chance to sit down at the wheel. Excuse me, I keep having a sip. I'm hot, but I don't know why. I'm drinking hot coffee. But the coffee's not that hot, so that's why I wanted to get it finished. No spinning. I was going to say no show and tell, but I'm kind of moving into new in the queue, and that will include a couple of show and tells. Hold on. Denise, this is just not very good videoing. Let's see. New in the queue. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this up fast enough. I should maybe print these out, just one page, so I can show you. I put a sweater in the queue this week, and it's because I saw Just Run It on Ravelry. I think it was on there. She put her finished, I want to call it a sweater, and it's called Lawrence. And I just put it in there. I've got no intentions of getting round to it anytime soon. I just like the style and the fact that you can wear your long sleeve tees under it, especially when the weather gets colder here. And I love the cowl. I like the long cowl. I like the short sleeves. It's got a bit of cable on it, and I haven't got my glasses. I think that's garter stitch. I can't even tell. And you see, there's too much of a glare here. So I did put that in my queue, and then I put, and as if by magic, I teleported onto the other side of the porch. That's because the camera cut out because the battery was low, and since that time I have popped down to the post office, I've had lunch with hubby, and it's after midday now. I started this at 9 o'clock this morning. I think where I was at was still showing you a couple of patterns. Instead of trying to look on the iPad, I think I'll just insert a couple of pictures as I mention them. I did get gifted another pattern, and that's what I was trying to see it before the camera cut off, and that was for the very adorable Christmas mice, and that's from Mary Jane's Tea Room, the designer is. But the pattern came from Jan, so I want to say a thank you to Jan. That was the second pattern, and then last week I did receive the Posh Petals pattern, the one that I had said I'd just put in my queue. I want to say thank you to the sweet friend who sent me that. Pinktober, the knit-along, coming up in October. I want to thank everyone, lots of you, that got in touch with me this past week. The response was fabulous. I don't normally like to ask for donations, but I wanted this to be a big, fun, just the funnest ever knit-along. This is the third year we'll have done Pinktober, we being Kathy from the Knit Nerd podcast. So more information about that coming up. I just wanted to say one of the prizes that came in, the first, let me see if I can hold these up. Anne contacted me last week. Oh, that might look quite clear actually. And Anne has a shop. Let me just put the name up on the screen, either up here or down here. TempletonCrochet.storeenvy.com. And Anne has some gorgeous stitch markers in her shop, and she sent these ones, beautiful set. One of them is a lobster clasp, so you can remove it. It's a removable one. I'd probably team that up with another little prize, not sure yet. I've got some skeins of yarn coming in, one of them from Michelle, who is our wonderful Woolly Love, that's her Ravelry name, and we all know her from Dancing Dog Dye Works. she's going to donate a skein of yarn, so I'm excited about that. And I have some other skeins of yarn coming in, which I'll tell you a little bit more about as and when I get them. Now, a couple of rules, or I think just one rule, but I've changed it. Somebody asked me this week if you have to cast on October 1st. And that got me thinking, because I want this to be a big fun knit along, and there's lots of prizes coming in which I'm excited about. 1 month sometimes isn't enough time to knit something for a knit along, especially when there's other knit alongs going on, or you're taking part in anything else that takes up your time. I think, and this is what I've decided. I haven't checked with Kathy, but oh, Bindi might want to go in. Hold on. You want to go inside? Bindi wants in. That's unusual. She always wants to stay out here with me. Anyway, sorry. I haven't checked with Kathy, but there's nothing to say that we have to have the exact same rules. With, 2 different podcasts. And Kathy might want to do this. I don't know. I've decided that the knit along will, even though it's going to start from October the 1st, well, sounds silly really, doesn't it? What I'm going to say is, during the month of October, you can put anything in the prize thread that you finish. It's got to be a finished object, and it's got to be finished before or by October 31st, which means you can start something now, if you would like, just to make sure that you've got it finished. I'll say, excuse me, it has to be finished between, I hope I remember this, it has to be finished between October 1st and 31st. So, you can start it now, and have it finished on October 1st or the first week in October. That'll give you lots of time to, knit more than one thing if you would like. You can have as many entries as you want. Just try not to make them teeny tiny projects if you're going to, do multiple entries. You can knit, cast on anything right now, or if you have a work in progress that is a lot of pink in it, you can, if you get that worked on and you can finish that on October 1st or between those 2 dates, you can enter that as well. So basically what I'm saying is, you can pick up a work in progress or an unfinished object, or you can cast on now. You can do all them things. Has to be mostly pink in your project, and you can enter them into the prize drawing. Does that make sense? I just think it's better than saying, let's all wait till October 1st and then cast something on, and then a lot of us might not get anything finished, and so there's not that many people are eligible for prizes. Which you might like if you're going to be one of the ones that finish your project, but others who are struggling to get their projects finished, not going to be much fun for them. So you've got from now until end of October to work on something pink. Could be for you, could be a gift, anything. And I'll try to go over the rules, I'm sure I will, each week, and I'll get them put up in the Ravelry thread at some point, not sure when. Seems a little early because we've got the whole of September to go through, but I hope all that made sense. Let's move into book talk. Oh, and I've got them right here. I thought I was going to have to lean over. Right, book talk. Just a couple of things. Oh, I've got a few here. Yes, the second book. I am plodding along. I think I'm halfway through. Apologies because I still didn't put in the read-along thread what chapters you need to be up to get it finished by the end of the month. It doesn't seem like that is necessary right now because I think everyone's reading at their own pace, and a lot of you are finishing the book, moving on to book 3, which is fabulous. I'm glad you're enjoying the series so far. I'm enjoying this one, and I think I mentioned it in the thread last week, I had just gotten to the part where, now if you haven't read this yet or you're behind, put your fingers in your ears for just 2 seconds. I just got to the part where Willow found out who her father was. That's all I'll say. So it was getting really exciting and fun to read. So I'll just keep going with it. And as I mentioned before, I'm not going to move into book 3 myself, personally, not just yet. Not for a few weeks or even a couple of months. But by all means, carry on with the series if you've started to enjoy it that much. The reason I'm not going to go straight into book 3 is because I have books that I'd like to try and read for the neighbourhood book club as well. And I mentioned last week, this is our August read, and our meeting will be kind of the first week in September. I think it might be the 4th. I'm a bit worried that I might not get it finished. So what I've done is I've signed up for a free trial of audible.com through Amazon, and I've started listening to this book. And it's driving me crazy because I don't like the voices, mostly the lady's voice. I just don't like it. So I don't know how you guys that have, or gals, that have Audible and you listen to a lot of books, I don't know how you do it if you're going to come across somebody that you don't like listening to. Alright, let's see. Girly chatter. Nothing specific to chat about this week. I do want to say that I'm glad you liked the section last week where I talked about the difference between American and English cakes, specifically wedding, christening cakes, and what we call Christmas cake. So it was fun to chat about, and I'm glad you didn't think I waffled on too much. I do plan on making a Christmas cake this year. And I also, and I've never done this before, I think I'm going to make a Christmas pudding. Is that what I say? Christmas pudding. I've been chatting with Kay, and any time I chat to friends back in England, it does make me homesick a little, but it just stirs up the memories, and it gets me longing to do, you know, things I used to do back home. I have made a Christmas cake a few times over here. Sadly, in my household, that just includes hubby and Kiki, I'm the only one that eats it, believe it or not. But it's never stopped me from making it in the past. I just don't make it every single year. Not going to show you anything. I am getting on with some making bags, Halloween ones and Christmas ones, and I'm super excited. They look fabulous. Got new fabric, and I did open the shop early. I had said I'm going to close it till September 1st to get some bags made and have a big shop update then. I opened it early. I opened it last week, I think. I'm not sure if it was before I recorded and I mentioned it already or if I didn't. But it was open to put some of the Zeded Bupper pills in there. A lot of you have been requesting them, and I thought, well, it's a silly time to close a shop when a lot of people want to be going in there and purchasing a Zeded Bupper pill. Excuse me. So I opened it, and I've been trying to put some in there, and thank you, because they seem to be going off the shelf pretty quick, so to speak. I did find some nice fancy schmancy charms, and so I put a few deluxe Bupper pills in there. So, and I did put a deluxe set of stitch markers, Bindy's stitch markers, Don't You Dare Bark, because Bindy likes a bit of bling bling, and I found some little paws. I only had 3, so I made sets, with those, that charm. But they've already gone. If I can find more bling blingy paw prints, I'll make more. But so as of now, the shop is open, but I won't be putting the bags in until a specific date, which I'm going to try and hold off on for September 1st. So you'll have plenty of time to get Halloween bags and even Christmas bags, and some, non-seasonal ones as well. In between doing all that, I'm going to try and stick to my new routine and schedule. And today, Tuesday, I was trying to think, what did I put down? Well, of course, it's podcast day, so that takes up most of my day. As I said, I've been doing this since 9 o'clock this morning, and it's probably after 1 o'clock now. And the other thing that's on my list is just to do the laundry and to clear up the kitchen. Unload dishwasher, wipe counters and all that, the general maintenance of it. So, I will get on and do all of that. And with that, it does bring me to the end of the show this week. I think I have a lot of editing to do. And stops and starts, like there normally is. So I'm going to go off and do that now. Actually, I have something here. I forgot to mention it, and I just glanced down. I didn't even realise it was sitting with me. At the beginning of the show, I always forget to say we have a giveaway thread every month. It's back open. Last month it was kind of tied in with the Christmas in July knit along. Right now it's just for finished objects for the month of August, and I have a bag already made. I never have the bag made that I'm going to give away. But I've been playing around and trying the grab bags, the knot bags, or the Japanese knot bags, whatever you would like to call them. I made another one, and I wanted to sew up the sides just a tad more than the previous one, the one I'm going to keep. And I made it, and I think I kind of need to do, the next one I do is going to be in between the two of them. One I think wasn't sewed up high enough. I think this one is sewn up a little higher than I would like. It's still functional and it's still fabulous. So I thought I would make it the August giveaway. And someone can try it, and whoever wins it can maybe give me some feedback if they like using them. So here is this month's Kiki Boo bag to give away at the end of the month. And this is where I've stitched. See, it doesn't look very big and open now, but the other one was like down here and it seemed like it was too big. So this, it's still functional, it still slips through very nicely, goes on your hand, and it will work just as good as any other. I just think I'm sometimes a little bit of a perfectionist, and I'm going to tweak it where it's going to be, maybe it's in the middle where I stop sewing. There's no pockets in this one. Some are going to have pockets and some are not, so those that like pockets can buy them, and those that do not need pockets can buy the other ones. That is the prize, so just wanted to show you that. And of course I'm holding it up, but you can quite easily see there's lots of British things on it. I said things. So there we go. That is the end of the show. I get sad at this part because I don't like to say goodbye, but I have to. So I will wish you all a wonderful week, as I always do. I hope it's fabulous. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope you still like sitting down with me and listening to me waffle. And I hope you come back next week and join me in the knitting den. Bye guys.